Hello there. Thanks for watching, listening to VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast, episode 159. Wherever you're watching us, listening to us, thanks very much. You know me, Steve Lillis. You know John Evans. Tonight's guest, he hasn't been on for a while, but he's a bit of a regular face. He's a trainer, manager. He does bits of promoting. He boxed even, and he's got an amateur club. But he finds time at 9 o'clock at night to record this on a Monday night, the minute he's in from the gym. Alex Matvienko. How are you, Alex?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for inviting me as always. And good to see John. I always like speaking to you guys. So, yeah, it's good.
That's kind of you. Very kind. How's life down at that gym with all those boxers and people turning up? What's going on there at the moment?
Yeah, to be honest, it's gone a little bit quieter at the moment. Taiwu's gone back to Nigeria. He was struggling to get a big fight. Yeah, it's not who you fight, it's who you avoid in boxing. Liam Gaynor's gone back to Ireland. I've got Marcus is in Dubai.
Yeah.
So it's gone a little bit quieter, but yeah, it's good. I've got a few lads in and just done the amateur team. I've got some good amateur kids. I'm just enjoying it. Yeah, going with the flow. Just waiting for someone to walk through the door and take them to Saudi. We got Cindy in the Olympics, so that's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good. It's good. Life is good.
What's the ideal thing, Alex? Would you like a 20-year-old good amateur to come through who you can get right to work with, or would you like a 14, 15-year-old to come in who's got it and you can get them from early on? What's like the ideal scenario for you?
14 to 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a conveyor belt. I've got some national champions this year. I've got a young kid called Joe Peel who's 17, and he's having a really good season. He's boxing for England in a couple of weeks in the Tri-Nations. I've had Jamie Kez win a national. Sam Aki, he's a good kid. I've got some good ones following behind Cindy. So I'm sort of got my conveyor belt of kids that we've had from scratch. So yeah, it's good.
And what about on the professionals at the moment? Is it Marcus will be back soon, won't he, from his Hamza experience?
Yeah, Marcus, I want to let off the leash soon. He's 8-0. He's willing to get in there and get stuck in with a few. I'd love a Central Area title for Marcus. I've got a kid called Imad Naseeb who's 1-0, and he's a good kid. He's a super bantamweight. He's been sparring Michael Ramsbellata, the former English champion, and he's doing really well. Michael rates him. He's been in with some good kids and they all rate him. He's a good kid. Yeah. So I've got a couple coming through, through the pros. Yeah.
Well, brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what, everyone. This week, we're not going to do our usual format, 3 minutes. We're not going to go any longer than the 25 minutes or so we go. But there's something we've got to talk about a little bit more than usual. And you don't even get one guest to know what it was. It was the night in Saudi, Fury Usyk Fury, whatever you want to call it. Alexander Usyk, the first undisputed world heavyweight champion for a quarter of a century. Let's start talking about the fight. Was it your sort of heavyweight fight, Alex Matvienko, given that you feasted on 80s wars, and I saw the excitement of you outside the Emmy or the whatever it's called, the arena in Manchester now, after Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce the other year, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Did it live up to what was that what you want from a heavyweight fight?
Yeah. I mean, I love the Ike Ibuchi, David Tuia type fights. But how can you not enjoy the Fury and Usyk? It had a bit of excitement. It had a bit of everything. You had Tyson doing his Ali showmanship type stuff, holding the ropes and, playing around. You had Usyk come through adversity with a cut. Russ done a good job with a cut. He had a post couple of rounds, and then he, the way he flipped it, it had a bit of everything. So, yeah, I do like your slam bang type of heavyweight fights, your Tommy Morrison, your Jerry Quarries, your Ike Ibuchi in 2 years. But I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
John, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it's the best heavyweight fight for years. I thought it was better than Fury Wilder 3 because that was messy and up and down and excitement all the way. But this was proper quality. It reminded me a little bit of obviously not to the same level, but it reminded me a little bit of Hearns Leonard 1 where it had different shifts in momentum and they had to work out what they were doing. And Usyk looked done, and then he twisted it round, and I think the fight changed when he broke Fury's nose
100%.
the round before he actually hurt him, and then Fury battled through that, and I thought it was great. It was really good, and the right man won.
Yeah, I thought the big thing with me there was the shifts, as you say, John. Those rounds when Fury come back right into it, and you thought he had the fight won. And I think that the shot to the left hand to the nose totally changed the fight around, and then Fury reeling around like a Saturday night drunk. Not that you see many Saturday night drunks or any in Saudi Arabia. And I thought the referee there was fantastic, not stopping Fury. He was an experienced referee, and he took him to been around for years and years. I remember him being a WBO judge back in the 90s. And he knew what Fury had bounced back from before and let him go. If that had been an inexperienced referee, he would have jumped in. I thought that was fantastic refereeing. He didn't deserve the people who have criticised him. And I just thought the way Usyk just dug deep to pull it out the bag was something else. And to me, he just becomes, well, like an all-time great. You go back, I mean, when we was in the Box Nation days, Buncey would always talk the amateurs, and he always used to talk about a great 2008 European Amateur Championships in Liverpool. And Usyk won the light heavyweights that year. So since 2008, he's fought a procession of top men, amateur, professionals, a cruiserweight, going away and winning, and now proving himself the best of his generation. I mean, I was talking to Al Siesta I work with at GBM Sports yesterday, and he thinks Usyk has to become the best of all time because of that success of the amateurs. You know, from the amateur career right the way through.
Yeah, Al knows his boxing as well, doesn't he? So, and obviously he'll be a little bit biased with his background, but no, he's right. I mean, look what Usyk's achieved from cruiserweight right through. Absolutely just unbelievable. And like you say, he had a poor 6th round. Was it 6 when he got hit with that uppercut? And you could hear the uppercut land, and you heard the crowd react to it. And he's gone back to that corner, and he's come out a different animal. He's not felt sorry for himself. He's gone for it. And like you say, when he landed that left hand, and Fury seemed to blow his nose as well. I think he broke the nose, and then he blew it, which doesn't help. Because
I didn't know either. I know it doesn't help, yeah.
So the swelling comes up a lot quicker. So Frank Hopkins did a good job with the eye, to be fair, because the eye comes straight up, and the commentary said like the eyes come straight up. But if you notice, he has a bit of a Tommy Hearns Kronk. We call it a COVID feint at the gym, where he rubs his nose and he looks and he rubs. But he always tends to blow it as well and sniff out. And when he got hit with that, he blew his nose after about 2 seconds later, and I think it made his eyes come up. And sometimes you do that, you lose your vision for a minute. You know, it can affect your vision. You know, and that must have caused a lot of more damage there as well. So what he went through, Fury, and then getting caught, like saying, you know, going from pillar to post, how he stayed up. Unbelievable fight. The excitement that round was just something else.
I wonder how close Usyk was to losing. Do you know what? Like round 6 and 7.
It was over. I thought he was.
Fury was good as well.
He got his rhythm. He
found his rhythm. He was
brilliant.
Usyk couldn't touch him.
No.
He was.
And that uppercut.
Enjoying himself, Fury was hurting him to the body. Yeah. The uppercut was good. Yeah, and all of a sudden, one shot. I wonder if he'd got to the end of that round, carried on dominating, if Usyk would have felt sorry for himself on his stool, and Fury could have just got on top of him and maybe got him out in 8 or 9. I wonder if he was just that 30 seconds from breaking him.
Yeah. Alex, you're a cornerman. There's been a lot said about Fury's corner with the dad, Andy Lee and Sugar Hill. What did you make of it?
I don't really want to. Okay, I don't want John coming round busting our money, kidding. It is what it is. I mean, everyone's excited. The thing is, you've got 3 alpha males in there. You've got the undisputed heavyweight title on the line. You've got the Saudi paydays on the line. You know, Tyson wins this. He probably were getting promised X amount to fight for you. You know, you've got a lot going on. Tyson's legacy. And it just seemed like they was all too hyped up and everything else. And like you said, everyone knows that you have a you have a chief cornerman, an assistant, you know, and everyone has the place. But it did look like as the rounds were going on and they were getting desperate, you're right. You know, there was a lot of voices and it can cause a little bit of panic, you know, because you need to listen to, you know, simple instructions and it's got to be simple. But when everyone's shouting at you, you know, if I run in your house now and start shouting, it causes a bit of distress and panic. I'm not saying it caused Tyson to panic, you know, because Tyson's Tyson, he's a remarkable fighter. But, you know, I know what you're saying, and you know, ideally it needs to be one clear voice, giving one, you know, because they were all on the same page, obviously.
No, I mean, I couldn't train a dog to piss against the wall, so I don't know. I am to say it, but mate, I just think it's that one voice thing, and maybe it was down to Sugar Hill to calm the whole corner down. He was the lead in the corner. It's for him to say, "Shut up, John. Just pass up, or just tell me during the round." I think that, you know, Sugar Hill's got to take a bit of some responsibility for it seemingly being out of control. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I agree with you. They were all saying different things as well, weren't they? They were all telling him different bits of advice, but Sugar was telling him the right thing. But he was just being drowned out by John, who, you know, Fury listens to probably more than anyone. Once John starts talking, Tyson changes, doesn't he? And Andy, who he respects, was telling him another thing. But Sugar was the main man, and Sugar was giving him the right instructions. What a situation for him to be in, though. You know, you've got the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world going on 3 feet away. You've got to watch everything, and you've also got to tell two people to keep their mouth shut. Or do you do it in the corner when you know there's cameras and microphones there? And then you've got another situation, haven't you? It probably should have been spoken about the morning of a fight. You know, just, I don't know if you do it, Alex, run through the corner on the morning of a fight if you've got something big, saying, look, I'll do this, you do this, you do this. And maybe it just got missed. But yeah, it was a bit of a mess as it got late on.
So,
I mean, it was such a big fight and such a big an event, and there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on, and you know, it happens, doesn't it? You know, things happen, things get, you know, everyone gets carried away, and everyone wanted. Obviously, it shows how passionate the corner team are, you know, and they all wanted him to win, and which is obvious. You know, his dad's obviously going to do, you know, Andy Lee obviously, and Sugar Hill. But like you say, it'd be good if everyone was on the same page, obviously, you know.
Yeah. So where do you see the future for Tyson Fury now? What do you think? You know, if you had a crystal ball, what do you think he'd do?
I think he should do a rematch straight away. You know, Tyson goes on a lot about the belts don't matter and money don't matter, but he also calls himself one of the greatest of all time, and I think now we can prove it. You know, all the greats apart from Marciano, all the heavyweight greats have lost and come back. And Tyson should try and avenge it. He wasn't outclassed. He wasn't beat up badly. Yeah, he was beat up badly in the 9th round. That was a close fight, but he just about lost. And he's had a good look at Usyk now, who's one of the most unpredictable guys. For both 36, mid-30s, and Usyk's a little bit older, I think Tyson should just get back in the gym once he's healed up, get the grip between his teeth, and go at Usyk and try and get his titles back. The Joshua fight's always there. Fury could lose to Usyk again and bounce into a Joshua fight. But I think he can really mark himself down as a great by coming back and beating Usyk.
Yeah.
I think that should be his immediate aim.
I think the important thing, John, I mean, obviously you think Joshua and any other, you know, you might want to do something else, but you know what? I think the important thing, you touched on at the start of your comment there, is to get back quick. You don't want to be going away out the gym for 3 months like he can do, you know, and enjoy, you know, get a dad bod and enjoy that life where he goes, has a few beers and stuff like that. I think the worst thing he can do is, you know, is not go in let his weight balloon again. That'd be the worst thing. And suddenly, before you know it, it's the end of August. He's 4 stone, 2 or 3 stone overweight, and he's not going to be ready till December or January, and it means 8-9 months out.
Yeah.
What's your opinion, Alex?
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I think Tyson did absolutely brilliant. The fight was so close. You know, there was some swing rounds that could have gone either way. It was a brilliant fight, and it was back and forth. It had a bit of everything, and he has nothing to be ashamed of, and nothing. I know he's going to be disappointed because he's lost his undefeated record, but you know, records are for DJs, and you know, there was no loser in that fight, and all the fans, nobody lost. You know, they put on a brilliant show. It was a brilliant fight. We've needed stuff like this over the years. I mean, it's a shame that I think the IBF might strip him soon,
exactly.
you know, which is crazy to think, because this was the two best fighters of, you know, recent years coming together, and he should just get back up on the horse and go again. And hopefully he's not disappointed and he doesn't, you know, kick himself while he's down. He put a brave fight in. Had he won, you know, I don't think many would have complained. You know, either way, it was a top fight, and I'd love to see him go again. There's some good heavyweight fights out there. You know, maybe he goes in with Dubois. I'd love to see him back in with Usyk. There's loads of fights, and the Saudis are doing brilliant for us, aren't they? And, you know, they're getting looked after, the fighters and the teams and that. Just, you know, hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. Like you're saying, he doesn't have too much time out. I think I'd love to see him go again. You know, what a fight.
What it
You know,
did
the
show...
IBF stripping him.
Yeah.
Surely, I know that the IBF are strict, aren't they? Which I think is a good thing. You know, they stick by the rules and they make sure everyone gets a chance. But surely even they must think, look, Usyk's the man now. By us stripping a belt off him and putting it on Hrgovic and Dubois, it doesn't matter. People won't take it serious. Surely they realise they've got a benefit from just waiting 6 months.
The mad thing is, Hrgovic and Dubois, the winner of that's going to suffer, because people are going to call him the joke champion when they shouldn't do. The winner of that fight will suffer being IBF world champion when they should be celebrating it, because people will just take the mickey. It'll be almost like, remember when the WBO started and no one took that serious, even though it's the IBF and it's been around for many, many years. People, you know, the winner of Dubois and Hrgovic will suffer for being IBF champion, because people will say, how dare they call themselves world champions?
Just make it an interim belt, or say it's a final eliminator. Just do something like that, and just say, right, it was an exceptional fight. We've got to have a rematch. It was a close thing. The winner of Hrgovic Dubois gets the first shot after the rematch.
Yeah.
There you go. No one would complain.
What it did show the other night, though, when boxing does get it right, nothing beats it. And everything was right about the other night. And we've been on here before. We've been critical of TV coverage. I watched it on Sky the other night, and I thought even their coverage was brilliant the other night. I thought it was good punditry. You know, there wasn't big gaps between the fights. I think I don't know where you guys watched the fight, what channel you watched it on, but I just thought boxing got it right the other night, which is brilliant. You know, people were quick to jump on and hammer boxing when we don't get it right in the sport for many reasons. Well, you know, when it can't be right. But the other night, these people who knock it should turn around and say that sport got it right the other night, and it was fantastic the other night. What channel where did you watch it, fellas? Did you watch the Zone, Sky, or BC?
Sky.
What did you think of it, Alex? Sky? I thought they were good the other night.
I like the Sky productions. I do like them. Sometimes I do miss the old commentators like Bob Sheridan and people like that on the Colonel. You know, I miss some of the old commentators, but you know, because they give a bit more in-depth breakdown. But no, I enjoyed the production. I do like Sky's production, so yeah, I enjoyed it.
Bang on. What channel did you watch it on, John? Or
I had it on TNT, because I like it when they're actually in the arena all night. I know Sky was in the studio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I like when we're in the arena, because you get little. This is me going back to Alex will appreciate it. It's like, you were always there, Steve, so you won't recognise it. But when you had the heavyweight fights in the 90s and stuff, you might get Craig Slater pop up at ringside with some special guest interviewing him. And I've always remembered that. So I like Frampton and Bunty as well. So I like watching them, so I tend to watch it on TNT.
It's funny, a mate of mine the other night, he rang me yesterday, and he was a bit of a panic to buy it, could only find it on Sky, and he wanted it on TNT because of Bunty and Frampton. But I had to go with Sky. I just thought Sky were really good the other night. Really good.
You know, another reason why it was so good, that fight between Kakachi and Cordina.
Oh, we got to talk about that. I'll tell you what, Kakachi, it was mentioned on the Sky commentary the other night, and I went back in my old notes on my computer, and in 2018, I did a thing on Kakachi. Well, 2018-19. For the Box Nation website, and back then Carl Frampton told me back then it was the hardest he'd ever been hit was by him in sparring, and I remember speaking to quite a few Belfast boxers over the years, and I've asked about the fighter who should really, who hasn't made it, who's going to be the possible wasted talent. And almost to a man, they said Anto Kakachi. And even, I mean, I interviewed him about a year, 12, 14 months ago, and he was still making ends meet, doing part-time gardening for people when he wasn't training.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's like a Rocky story.
Yeah.
Some fight on it. Jamie Quinn will tell you how hard he hits. He's only got eight stoppages on his record, but everybody tells you it's ridiculous power. You know, it's like bone bruising power.
Yeah.
But, I thought it was a tremendous fight. It was like watching two Mexicans at 4 o'clock on an old undercard, where they just get straight into range and let the shots go. I loved it.
So you talked about, you know, the way Usyk come through adversity, the way Tyson tried to fight back and take over the other night. But what about Cordina in that 4th round after that 3rd round? That was incredible. His powers of recovery.
Yeah, ridiculous. Great fight, but it's just got glossed over a bit. But it's been lost in my wake, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just hope Kakachi has I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know whether is there an IBF mandatory going to be due or I don't know what's going to happen with him. But I hope he gets the chance to make some money or gets another good payday to secure his future, because you know it's taken a long time for him to live up to his potential, and he obviously hasn't made much money if he was still gardening for people a few months ago.
Yeah. He was supposed to be fighting Piranha Ghana last November.
Really? Oh, I remember when he was going to fight Zelfa?
Dillamani as well. There was
it Dilmagani, his last fight for was it Zelfa's before Zelfa left Frank? Were they meant to fight and he pulled out at late notice, or was it Dilmagani he pulled out against?
Dilmagani, yeah, he got ill, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few, haven't there, that he's missed opportunities, but everything happens for a reason, and now he's sat with a world title. Unbelievable.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable.
Well, so before we wrap up, got to look forward to this weekend in Leeds. I've no idea why the fight's in Leeds, but we're still going to enjoy it on Saturday night. Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. How's it going to go, fellas? Go on, John.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to be it's my type of fight. I think it's going to be a bit nasty. I think it's not going to calm down. They're not going to shake hands at the weigh-in or anything like that. I think it's going to get worse this week when they see each other. Taylor will go into Taylor mode. I think it'll have a real bite to it, the fight. So I can't wait for it. But I've got no idea who's going to win.
Yeah,
I can't predict it.
I've had a funny feeling for Taylor, but I still don't know. It's like I had a funny feeling. I fancy Fury for some reason, changed my mind just before we come on here last week to do the pod. I went to Wolves. No, it's a great fight. A lot of nastiness in there. I can't even imagine these two ever doing an after dinner tour like Froch and Groves do. I mean, Josh Taylor isn't of that mentality anyway. He isn't of that mentality. Believe me, I like him a lot, but I think I've said there before. I once had to take him to a press conference with Frank Warren. We got stuck in Carlisle for one reason or another. We went in the Nando's for 2 hours and listening to him speak about life then and what he believes should be done to people. He's someone you don't want to cross. He's the sort of fella, if you did get him on the floor, you'd have to jump on his head because if he got up, he'd just chew you. I love him. I think he's a great bloke, by the way.
How many times has the fight fell through recently? Is it
twice,
just
isn't it?
Was it twice?
Is it twice or once it's fallen through, John?
See, I just worry that might have took the edge. I mean, I love Jamie and Jack as well. Again, friends of mine, like, obviously, you know, I know the Furies, John and stuff, but I do worry that Jack's been in the gym. I know he trains like an animal, but hopefully he's, you know, with the two fights fall through. We've seen this happen. I think when Pat fought for the world title, did that fall through twice before he got there? Then by the time you get to the world title, sometimes you lose your edge a little bit. But I know Jamie knows what he's doing. Jack knows what he's doing. But sometimes you can see it knocks fighters a little bit sometimes when it's on, it's postponed. But obviously Jamie Moore knows what he's doing. And Jack's a good fighter. I do rate Jack, but Josh is a good fighter, you know, and he's in a thriving gym with Joe McNally, so it is a very good fight. But I've always rated Jack.
Yeah.
I have always rated Jack. So
he can make the best look poor, can't he? Or
Yeah.
ordinary, should we say, not poor. I mean, he can make very good fighters have ordinary nights.
yeah.
I was big on Jack before the first one.
Well,
Thought Jack was gonna do it first time because he's so underrated. But I just wonder if Josh has had a look at him now.
Yeah.
The other thing that's made me wonder though, Jack used to be lethal, didn't he? He used to be patient. When he saw an opportunity, he'd explode and go through the gears and take people out. And that's just gone recently. And the last couple of fights, I wonder if he's been a bit safety first, not wanting to lose, because I bet he thought, if I lose, the Taylor fight's gone.
yeah.
You know, no one's going to touch me again. So I wonder if he's been holding himself back a little bit just to make sure he got this big fight. And I wonder if we might see Catterall back how he was. Well, he's going to be anyway, isn't he? Because of the nastiness and spite and what happened the first fight. But I wonder if we might get a better Jack this time as well.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the judges aren't the story again, but I was just wondering, I was thinking this the other day. If it was a close fight, that they just go with Catterall to make sure there was justice from the first one, almost like Lewis Holyfield too.
Yeah.
All those years ago, was it around 1999, whenever it was in Las Vegas?
25 years ago it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. That night when, you know, Lewis was jobbed in the first fight, the second fight was really close, and they made sure he won. I'm wondering if we could see something like that, because the judges are going to feel the pressure.
I honestly, I find it. I don't know. We can't back down on bell to bell, can we? You've got to make a prediction.
Right.
Right. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go on.
I'm gonna go Catterall.
I'm gonna go Taylor.
Right.
Jack, Catterall.
Yeah.
Right. 2-1. Fellas. But tell you what, thanks for coming on here so late at night, Alex.
Well, you're welcome. I don't mind.
So late at night. John, thanks as always. Thanks everyone for watching or listening. We've flown through that, but we couldn't do rounds tonight because it was too much to look back on from the weekend. Thanks everybody, and I think we got Ryan Walsh on next week with us. He's on holiday for a couple of weeks, but he wants to be. I think it's next week or the week after he's back. We'll try and get him on next week. So
I'm amazed Ryan's not phoned in from his holiday. He loves it, doesn't he?
He said to me, I tried to get him on last week. Before Alex suggested Marcus Tomlinson to me, and thanks for that, Alex. And he's actually he's having a holiday. He said, and he's going to do a little bit of training, but it's the first proper holiday with his missus that he's had in ages. I think there was no kids. They're just going to have a holiday in Tenerife and do little else but relax. So, which is a first for any of the Walshes, I tell you, to not get away from boxing.
Yeah.
Anyway, fellas, thanks very much, and thanks everyone for listening, watching.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.